Welcome back, Wrist Check Podcast. The gang has returned for episode 16. And today we've gathered to talk about
Watches and Wonders.
Watches and Wonders.
This is going to be a fun one. We get to use our imagination.
There we go.
You need like the rainbow to come from like your fingertips.
Imagination.
This is going to be a lot of fun. I know this is like the topic of conversation for like the last 2-3 months maybe.
Yeah.
People talking about leaks and what they hope to see, and everyone's got some sort of prediction that they make in terms
Yeah, we can throw whatever we want at the wall now.
We really can. But before we get into that, wrist check. I'll kick it off this time. I'm wearing one of my favorite watches. I am wearing my Omega Speedmaster Professional. This is a 90s Speedy. I think it's a 95, 96. It's got a tritium dial. Originally, I was looking for a birth year, but those were increasingly difficult to find for myself. So I settled for a mid 90s because if I couldn't get my birth year, I at least want to get something from the years where I was roaming the streets, when I was really outside. And I love this piece. I have this one on the Forstner bracelet. This is a repro of a JB Champion bracelet that was worn by Dick Gordon. It's kind of like a mesh NATO. Yeah. I like it a lot. It's super comfortable. Looking at it, you would think, especially on like my hairy arms, that it would like get snagged and stuff like that. Never has. This is the second bracelet I own from Forstner. I think they do like really, really awesome stuff. Both bracelets I have, I go back and forth with on the Speedmaster. But yeah, I love this watch. It's an icon. It's almost an everyday driver for me. I mean, I wear it at least a couple times a week. But tried and true. I love this thing. What are you rocking with today?
I'm wearing something that I believe was sent to me as a troll.
By
my friend Ashwin. So he surprised me with a custom Casio that is actually pretty cool. It's all gray monotone, but the dial, the hour markers, has some Tiffany blue on it.
Uh-oh.
And y'all know my sentiments with the color Tiffany blue.
Yeah.
But that to the side, I'm very grateful and thankful that he got it for me. I always love when my friends think about me when they see something funny or think that I would like it. But I think he knew what he was doing. I think This is part of a prank.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna wear it and show it off. See, it's here.
It's dope.
Looks
and
great.
It's a custom
cool.
dial. It's
I like
painted.
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a painted dial. And he got me a gray one, which I don't already own, so thank you.
Cool.
Filled two checks. A custom one and a gray one.
A little Jackson Pollock.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I like Jackson Pollock.
It's dope.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't know, man. We've been in sync.
G-Shock's getting a lot of love.
Yeah. Episode after episode, we find ourselves in sync. But I decided to rock a G-Shock as well. I modded this one out. So on I think 2 episodes prior, I was wearing a modded G-Shock 2100, but on a steel bracelet.
Royal Oak G-Shock.
Royal Oak
mod.
The Casio mod.
Sure.
This time I'm doing the offshore.
Cassie Offshore.
Casio offshore. I love this. The quality is high as I expected. The rubber is comfortable. I love everything about it. The only callback I have to say, and it bothers me a little bit, is the fact that they put a crown on this thing.
It's a little odd.
It's a little odd.
It's also very big.
It's huge. But also, like, why put a crown that you don't need?
Yeah.
Exactly. But see, now, this is the funny thing about when you order pieces from China. They never look like the photo.
Sure.
So originally,
Is this the same place that you got the other mod from?
no, it isn't.
Okay, I was gonna say that makes sense because the other one doesn't have a crown.
Yeah,
The other one doesn't have a crown. This one has a crown, but I got it from a different manufacturer, And it took very long to deliver, but when I got it, I was happy. I was like, "Oh, the quality
How much
side
was
is
it?
great." I had it $100.
Okay.
So of course, like watch is already at 100. You get the mod at about 100. You can switch it up yourself, and save like paying somebody $500
Sure.
to just do something you could do yourself.
Yeah.
The only benefits of paying $500, you probably won't get a watch with a crown on it.
Probably get something a little bit more accurate.
Yeah.
Something a little bit more accurate.
It's funny because it's like I almost imagine like the person was putting together is like, you know what this thing is missing?
A crown.
I've seen it somewhere before.
You know what's crazy? You know what bothers me more than the crown? I thought you were going to talk about the screws.
The screws
Well,
are very shiny.
the screws are
the
very-
screws are also steel,
Yeah.
like silver, when everything else is black.
Yeah, I did want it to be blacked out, but I see how it manipulates in the light. You can't see it as like vibrant when you're looking from afar. When it's close, it might be a little bit alarming, but not my deal breaker just yet.
The crown is the deal.
Yeah, the crown
is the deal breaker.
The crown is off. It's just weird.
It's okay.
It doesn't
We just
belong.
we just had that moment, like everybody was just insane, was like, "It's the crown."
Listen, I think it's a valuable lesson learned when you're trying with mods. If at first you don't succeed, try again.
Yeah.
You got luck. You got
lucky
you
in
lucky
the
in the
first
first one. That was great.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right?
I did. I did.
Somewhere the manufacturer might be watching this. He's like, Rashawn, come back home.
Yeah,
Should've
you
stuck
weren't
with me.
you weren't loyal, and look what it got you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll look into it.
Oh
Send an
man.
email like, could you please make this better?
Yes.
So getting right into it. Watches and Wonders is coming up. When this airs, I think it'll start maybe just a couple of days later. There's a lot happening in terms of conversation. First, which brand are you most anticipating?
Patek Philippe.
Patek Philippe.
Yup.
Okay. And why? What do you
Because they have a lot to put out this year. Go on their website right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's gone.
Yeah.
Everything is gone.
Yeah, like people are like, oh, I want a Patek annual calendar. What annual calendar?
Yeah.
It's discontinued.
Yeah.
And they're a brand that literally invented it.
Yeah.
Like their standard Calatrava 5196 gone.
Yes.
So
So what do
now,
you
granted, they got replaced maybe by the 6119, but like
Sure.
the 6119 is not at the same price point as the 5196.
Yes.
It's like a 12 grand difference.
I was gonna say much higher.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to see?
I'm hoping to see a entry level Calatrava. I understand the 6119 technically is that. It's
Sure.
just time only.
Okay.
Maybe we get something like the 5196 where it's like you don't get none of the accoutrements you get with the 6119.
Right.
Maybe you don't get the hobnail bezel. Maybe you don't get the exhibition case back. Maybe you get a simpler movement.
It's a lot of maybes.
Maybe, but I mean that's the point, right? You can do that today.
Do you feel like it's going to be their show?
I think it can be. I think they have all the potential in the world. 'Cause let's be honest, everyone's going nuts about Rolex predictions like they do every single year, but we know what to expect from Rolex. Rolex has made the same watch forever. We're going to expect more of that. With Patek, you can never guess what they're doing.
I feel like especially after like the year that they had between, I mean, you just think about like watches of the year and not like our votes of watches of the year, but like the watches that were in the conversation for 2021. I mean, I think it's obvious it was the Nautilus, right? From the green dial to the Tiffany blue.
Yes.
And speaking of Nautilus, what if they remake a 5711? Everyone's talking about, a 6711 is going to be a thing. Maybe. Updated movement. I mean, I understand why they got rid of all the stuff that they did. A lot of that stuff's been around for a while. The movements are pretty outdated now compared to everything else in the collection. So, I mean, maybe there will be a time.
Do you think that, like, I mean, I'm not a big Patek guy. I do like Patek, but in terms of what they could do to surprise us, do you think, I'm thinking like, what if they make a move to sort of push another model?
Like a whole new line of watches.
Or maybe not a new line, but something that's kind of like, iconic, but also kind of like undervalued.
That's
like-
where I think the annual calendar comes in.
Okay. Gotcha.
Well, and then what I was gonna kind of piggyback on was I think they're gonna do something exciting in the Grand Complication, because if we have the Patek Philippe website up, and the piece that they're highlighting is their new Grand Complication.
Yeah, the advanced research. Yeah, but I mean, that's a whole nother world though. That thing's advanced research limited to 15. You got to highlight that.
Yeah.
But I think Grand Complications, Patek doesn't have any competition in that category.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They
no.
can do whatever they want. Maybe I mean I'm not sure we'll see anything that crazy during Watches and Wonders, because to be fair, they just launched like 4 watches, including that advanced research one over the summer.
Yeah.
That are super crazy.
Yeah.
2-tone skeletonized minute repeater with baguettes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come on. Like that's just one of the 4 that they launched.
Yes.
I think we have to see the revival of the annual calendar, because there's no more 5205, no more 5146.
Yes.
So both your options for annual calendar gone.
Mm-hmm.
They have to bring that back. They invented it. I think that's the line that's going to get a lot of push this year, and where more people are gonna come back into the brand. And I think people who used to think Calatrava is what I want as my first Patek, I think the tune might change to an annual calendar.
Okay.
We hear a lot of that too.
Yeah.
Where people are like, oh, do you have an annual calendar? What do you think of an annual calendar? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? So I definitely agree to your point, Ben. The annual calendar is kind of one of those pieces that's very staple and iconic in,
Yeah, for Patek.
for Patek.
They invented it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think that's going to be a focus this year for them. Also with the Calatrava, it's their logo.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
named the collection after their logo.
Yes.
There needs to be more there. I want to see more complicated Calatravas.
Do you think that this year we see another Tiffany Patek collab?
No, just because I don't think it makes sense, especially when they're making 170 watches to be sold over the course of 2 years.
Sure.
I think doing another collab, I don't think it's going to cannibalize it because of how special it is, but I don't think it makes sense. You got to give people what they want first. You can't, you got to sell out of the Tiffany 5711, starve them for a while, then come out with something new.
Okay.
I wouldn't, because it's like if you do 2 different Tiffany only collabs, it's like it doesn't feel special anymore.
Well.
Yes, that's what I think. I mean, I don't know.
I won't let the cat out of the bag, but I've heard some stuff.
With Tiffany? Oh, man, here we go. Here we go.
What about you, Rashawn? What are you most anticipating for Watches and Wonders?
I mean, listen, call it hype. I don't think it's hype. I'm gonna say Rolex.
Why are we doing this again?
It's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm excited to see what Rolex.
I think you and most people. I think that's
Yeah.
when you talk about the talk of the town. Like everyone's
This time of
waiting on
year
Rolex.
is like
It
people
is
literally
Rolex.
photoshopping
Sure.
Rolexes and saying, "Oh,
Well,
what
that's
if
the
this
thing
is a
too.
thing?"
It's like it's crazy how even the photoshopped images gets everybody riled up. We were talking about it off camera, like the rose gold bluesy. I think would be my absolute favorite.
Are you the rose gold bluesy? You talking about the
Submariner.
the sub? Okay.
yeah, blue dial, blue bezel, solid rose
blue
gold,
dial,
or
blue-
2-tone
yep.
rose.
Blue dye, blue bezel, solid rose gold. I'm excited to see if they do. It would be crazy if they brought back the Hulk and it was in solid white gold.
That's another prediction. They were talking about solid yellow gold.
Solid. Solid.
They were saying that last year though, when the Hulk originally got discontinued. They're like, oh yeah, they're gonna release it in gold only. Didn't happen. Might be this year.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to, because I see where you're going.
Yes.
So we're gonna get to that.
Yes.
So I'm gonna jump in front of you real quick because we're gonna talk about Rolex.
Yes.
So what I'm hoping to see is not Rolex, but is under the same umbrella. I want to see what Tudor does. I'm really interested to see where they go. You know, I think they had a really big year last year with the release of the bronze BB58 as a boutique exclusive. I think that set a precedent for them in terms of where they want to go and where they're going. With, you know, the Tudor boutiques and positioning the brand in the way that they are. And then the Pelagos FXD release, which I thought was incredible. And you had a host of other things that happened last year that they did. You know, the black ceramic.
Yes.
And then there was the Only Watch auction where they did the aged steel Black Bay GMT, which fetched almost $750,000.
Yes.
I
would love to see a Black Bay 58 GMT.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth.
I in terms of predictions, I think that is a possibility. I also think just on what I've been seeing, what people are talking about, and just the energy that's been out there for them last year, I think we're going to get a Ranger.
And
I'm hoping. I hope we get one. I hope we get a Tudor
58
Ranger.
style.
I think that would be great.
A Ranger 58 style would be dope.
I think to bring back the Ranger would be awesome. The vintage Rangers are on the rise right now.
Yep.
I know a lot of people that are collecting.
Yeah.
Or looking for one.
Saw one for just over 10 the other day.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm interested in seeing that come back. And maybe, you know, sort of reinterpret it in a different way. Interested to see what they could do with it. But I feel like that's a model that could almost take place of the BB58. Like if done well, you know, and it's just like unique enough and different enough, but still kind of channels that same spirit. I think that could be like the next big one.
I could see that too because it won't have a dive bezel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A little easier to wear.
I could agree with that. And you've hinted to that too before. It's like,
I mean, it's what I want to see.
yeah.
Yeah. And I
the
think about
Ranger
like the
coming
guys who, and I kind of fall into that category. Like I like an Explorer 1, but an Explorer 1 is, even as hard it is to get a Rolex today, it is a little pedestrian.
Yes.
And the Ranger channels that and sort of checks that box, but is still unique and different enough that it feels like something else.
Do they make it in that small case or do they beef it up?
I think you do a 39.
Yeah, you do a 39. You do it in the same exact case.
A lot of
as the
people are
58.
upset that the Explorer 1, they you know, they got rid of the 39, they went to a 36,
Yeah.
right? So it's like,
But there are Rangers that were in small cases too, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
vintage Rangers were always in the small
They're like
case. Yeah, they were
36.
36.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I think you do a 39. I think
Yeah.
Tudor's established that is their sweet spot
Mm-hmm.
with their fans and people who like their watches. Like, yeah, in terms of like offering something else that's not a BB58, right there. And then you can get those off for however long you want.
Yeah.
And like it'd be interesting to see them expound on that, right? Like where do you take that? You release the initial one, and then where do you go from there? So I'm really, really hoping to see something A, new from Tudor, and B, I would love a new Ranger. I think that would be dope. Going back to where you were, Rolex predictions. That's what everyone wants to talk about.
Yes.
So there was a leak.
Yeah.
And we put that in
Not
quotation
real.
marks because I don't really think this was leaked from
Adobe
Rolex.
Photoshop.
I saw a couple of YouTube videos with some dudes who were talking about like they got this from their AD.
and then it got walked back real fast.
Why would an AD have this information? Wild.
Yeah.
So some of what they're predicting is a rose gold date 8, right?
With a blue dial.
With a blue dial. There's the Coke bezel GMT
Coke bezel GMT for the first time in a long time.
on a Jubilee bracelet.
Yeah.
Is that the prediction?
Well, you technically have the option now, so yeah.
So it would be Jubilee or an oyster.
Right.
I'm not mad at that one.
No, if that comes back, I'm
I
calling
think
in
that's
favorites.
dope.
To see in a ceramic would be crazy.
Would be crazy. What if they don't do ceramic?
I mean, what else they gonna do? You have to do ceramic. Everything else in ceramic.
They don't have to.
It's their design language though.
The Kermit?
Ceramic. The modern ones, ceramic.
Yeah.
All the old ones are aluminum.
Yeah.
You switch from aluminum to ceramic.
Do aluminum.
They wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
They probably would.
That's outdated.
They're not
Yeah.
that. Yeah, they're not that disorderly. They're not gonna
That's
go
what Tudor's
backwards.
for.
No, I know, but one can hope. So they are talking about. Well, not
Oh, well,
they.
actually, speaking of that, what if Tudor makes a companion to their Pepsi GMT and drops a Coke?
I was thinking that.
Well, what about that?
I was thinking, in my head,
Like when people still complain, oh, it's too big.
Coke
No.
Tudor, GMT.
That might be fire.
I was thinking Batman.
Or get the whole lineup.
Get the whole lineup.
See, at that point, then
Then you
You've gone too far, huh?
Yeah, you're losing your DNA.
it just
You're
feels
copying
wrong.
Rolex, yeah.
Yeah.
Then it feels wrong, and all that Omega hate comes back. But they are talking about doing, not they as in Rolex, but
the
rumors,
people are
a
rumored.
white gold Hulk.
White gold Hulk.
So the
would be
Hulk
crazy.
making a return in white gold.
Yes.
There's also the, what did you nickname this sub?
The bluesy?
The bluesy?
Yeah.
That's a thing. People call it that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's bringing that out in rose gold, two-tone and solid rose gold.
Yeah.
Blue dial, blue bezel.
Yeah, because there is no rose gold sub.
No.
No, there isn't a rose gold sub.
So it would
I
be
could
cool
see a
if we
rose
would
gold.
do
That
it.
would be tight.
There's also not a rose gold two-tone Daytona.
There isn't.
There isn't.
Speaking
No.
of that, everyone thinks solid gold Daytonas or at least a two-tone ones to start will have ceramic bezels.
Really?
Yeah. I could see it on the two-tone. The solid gold, not so much.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. There's also, that rumor that was a while back about a titanium Yachtmaster.
I don't think that's ever going to be a thing.
I don't either, but I really
I would love it.
Yeah.
If it was
Yeah.
a thing. Especially with that Velcro strap that it was
That
on.
would be fire.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's the FXD on crack. That's
Yeah,
basically
why
what
not?
it is. No, but I'm saying.
Yeah,
It'd be
I mean,
hot.
I would love to see Rolex do something out of the ordinary and out of the box. And we talked about this before. They do that,
Yes.
right? You just don't really see it in the wild. So I think thinking about like what's offered to the public via ADs, right? What do you think about like some of the stuff that's not the stuff that is harder to get? Like what are those oddball pieces?
Like
that
with
they
like
do?
weird gem set GMTs.
Like
and
what
Sky Dwellers
if
and
what
stuff.
if they do like titanium Rolex, but it's not offered like that everywhere. Like
I could see the appeal of it. My only thing is who's gonna get their hands on it.
Yeah, who's gonna get their hands on it?
I mean,
We
that-
never see people wearing gem set watches anymore either.
don't.
Those are so hard to get.
Well, even going back to remember that time when you had went out to Vegas and you see
Oh,
that
yeah,
crazy
they had
gem
a-
set.
They had a Pearl Master.
Sorry.
It was a men's Pearl Master because it was technically men's. It was a 36.
Mm.
It was a rubber and stingray strap.
Jeez.
However, the the stingray inlay to the rubber strap also had diamonds laid in it.
Yeah.
Black,
Yeah,
black,
it was crazy.
black diamond bezel,
I gotta find an image. Of that.
zebra dial.
Yeah, that was like a zebra.
I have
yeah.
I have photos in
Yeah,
the
we
video.
gotta- we gotta pull it up.
Crazy.
That's
We gotta pull
wild.
it up.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was
But like
nuts.
Rolex does all this crazy stuff in their catalog that you'll just never see.
I know. So go ahead.
Well, also too to your point, because we were talking about. There was one time we were talking about a Malachite dial, Speedy.
Yep.
Someone was telling me, and I actually I've seen images of it.
Malachite dial Speedmaster.
I believe no, it wasn't a Speedmaster. It might have been an Aquaterra. My apologies. It was a Malachite dial Omega. I believe it was an Aquaterra because it was just like a simple 3-hand. So I didn't mean to say Speedy. I meant to say.
You think they made that?
They
was
made it.
custom?
I seen
Really?
the image. We were talking about it because also too in Vegas because you had went to
Yeah, I walked past the I forgot what hotel I was in, but there's an Omega boutique that's really big. It takes up it's like a little corner spot. So like the whole boutique is rounded off and basically takes up the whole corner of the hotel.
Okay.
And they had some wild stuff in the window.
Really?
Yeah. They had a
Vegas would be the place.
they had a gyro tourbillon Aquaterra.
Jeez.
I've only seen that on Instagram.
yeah.
I didn't know. that
Like
was a
the
thing.
middle of the dial is a tourbillon.
Wow.
And it's like a chocolate dial in the rose gold case on the brown leather strap.
Yeah. So I mean, we did share on a previous episode about Omega's releases. If they participate in Watches and Wonders, because we almost feel like, maybe they revealed
they are.
They'll be there.
Well, so they revealed their hand.
They didn't, though. That's the whole point.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
Here's 22 now. Here's another 20.
Here's another 20. That's what I was saying. So who knows what'll happen if they go ahead and they just go bam, 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 and just start dropping because
I don't see them on the list.
Metals.
No,
I don't see them on the list. Are they not participating?
they're not on the list. I guess not.
I don't see them on the list. I don't see Omega.
Well, either way, because I wanted to see precious metal pieces, unique things.
Oh, they're not.
They're not on the list.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe they come in
Maybe they took the basketball away from the court.
Maybe.
and just playing their own game.
Respect to them. One of the other topics of conversation that I think people are probably most interested in terms of what Rolex is going to do is what models do you think can be discontinued?
Yeah, it's never a question of what's coming out. It's what's going to be leaving.
Yeah.
For Watches and Wonders.
Yeah.
What's discontinued? So I think
Milgauss.
the Milgauss, there's a lot of talk about that, a lot of speculation. I'm hearing the Milgauss. I'm hearing the Air King.
Air King gets an update.
I think the rose gold green dial is done.
Day. Really?
Rose gold green dial is done.
White gold green too, I'm assuming that.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they do a
White gold green,
rose
yes.
gold blue dial, I would say, yeah, sure.
And I just think that it's a watch that gives Rolex too much grief. The production on it, you can't get one on your hands. It's already skyrocketing on the secondary market.
How does it give them grief though? If they make the watch and then it's sold,
Yeah, it's not grief on them. They
Well,
did
no,
their job.
well, the demand gives them grief, and I think that's where most of the issues that they have with the public, it comes from that.
I understand you. My question
I don't
is,
think
and
it's
I
an
don't
issue.
know the answer to this, but
Yeah.
my question is, does Rolex really care that people are upset that they can't have a Rolex?
I believe so,
You think so?
100%.
Okay.
I don't. I think the opposite.
I think as much as and this is what I believe Rolex to be. I think Rolex goes ahead and they may try to say, hey, we're gonna stick to our guns, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. But then at the same time, they want to keep the dream alive.
Sure.
Obviously, if you have a product that's undisputed, then you really wouldn't care what the public thinks, because I've shopped at boutiques in, let's say, fashion, where someone is like, yo, I don't have the product.
Mm-hmm.
So buy something else.
Yeah.
Or if you're not buying, leave.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is. And when it comes to Rolex, it's like, well, you can't buy a Rolex. Wait until one comes.
Sure.
How long will you wait? I don't have the answer. And this is Rolex. We don't have the answer. Just wait for it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm curious what happens with the colored OP dials.
Those get discontinued.
You
too.
think those?
No way.
Those get discontinued
No
too?
way.
You think so? You say no. You say yeah. You say yes. You say no.
Yeah. Why would they get discontinued?
Why not?
Why would they? Literally, why would they? What's the reason for getting rid of them?
that colorway. So wait. But think about it like this. Remember the 2020 line of OPs? Those were scrapped. The only ones that stayed were the black, the silver, and the navy.
So what's
because those got updated.
Yes.
I think those color. I think the entire colorway gets scrapped.
I would personally love for the entire colorway to get scrapped.
But it's not gonna happen though.
But
There's no way.
I don't know. But what's interesting is, and going back to what they reference, right? We know they reference the Stella dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently,
Stella Day-Day's coming back.
could be.
That would be nice.
But if the Stella Day-Dates come back, then I think you get rid of the OPs.
Nah, you can't. You need an entry level, $6,000, and then you need one for a baller.
You have an entry level $6,000. They're just not those lacquer dials.
But so you're saying get rid of the colored ones, leave silver.
I don't
blue,
think
black?
you do both if you're Rolex.
I think you have to.
You don't, because any watch will sell.
Yeah, but think about how many people saw those OPs and were like, I want a Stella Day.
So, but here's the thing.
But the entry level OP, right now, the funny thing is, and this is even happening in Patek. So your entry level to Patek right now is a Calatrava. It was the 5196 at 20,000.
Yeah, 22, 23, whatever it was.
Exactly. Now, that's next. And if you want like a 6119, you're talking about 35,000.
Mm-hmm.
But then that watch is so high in demand, your next like option is an annual calendar if you can get one. So then you're left with a perpetual calendar at 100,000.
But that's if even then you could find a perpetual calendar, because even then it doesn't matter what it is. Any Patek, any Rolex is in demand.
Yes.
I don't think you can be Rolex and make a Stella, quote unquote, Stella day date. What I would do, you leave the OPs how they are. There's no reason to get rid of them. They've been out for barely over a year.
Mm-hmm.
You have to leave them around. There's no reason to dump it. It's a new case size for it. That has to stick around for a while. What I would do is you need to make something else to complement the line. You have 5 watches and 5 different colorful dials, right? Make something more expensive to follow that theme. So now you're checking off multiple boxes.
I agree with you
right?
as like a merchandiser.
I think exactly. I think you have to do it.
But I think we're thinking on like our fast fashion kind of like.
Sure.
That's what I think it is.
Here's something interesting. So when the Stella dials were a thing,
Mm-hmm.
they gradually discontinued colors.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like we get rid of the whole thing. The first one they actually discontinued was the turquoise colored dial. That was the first one to leave the line. They took that and left the rest of them, and then gradually took more out.
And I think it still would be the first to go because it's giving Rolex the most grief.
I don't know if it's giving them grief.
Yeah, that's not what it is.
At 45, listen, secondary market at 45,000. This is still a brand that wants to keep the integrity of their product.
But
we sell the watch, but we sell the watch at $6,000.
I hear you.
We don't
I
want
hear you.
anybody to
I
sell
hear
it.
you. When you put it that way, I understand. I get
They
it.
have to.
But yeah, but that's not on them. And also
It's
the fact that it's selling for 45 makes more people want it.
But they're not concerned about people wanting their product. They're concerned about the secondary market.
They are concerned
but
about people
then
wanting their product.
But also discontinuing it fuels the secondary market. It's going to go for more. If it's
will.
going for $45K right now and it's available in an authorized dealer, if you want to avoid fueling the secondary market, you have to produce
make
more
more.
of them so the price goes down. You're talking about doing the opposite.
But you just said produce more. They cannot and they will not produce more.
I mean, they don't have to. If you produce, I mean, they shouldn't. You produce more watches, quality control goes down.
But we also talked about, dude, they have so much that they have to worry about. We haven't even seen their new novelties from 2021. We're in 2022, and then we're getting ready to go into Watches of Wonder 2022, and those novelties are supposed to release in 2023.
I think the thing
We still haven't even seen 2021.
you're right.
Well, I mean, it's like a Ferrari, dog.
Yeah. I think the moral of the story is we don't know.
But that's
It
what the show
literally can go any way.
Yes.
And I don't know if I'd be surprised either way. I'm not surprised if the OPs stick around. I'm also not going to be surprised if they go away.
I think they're gone. I
hope they go.
I hope they're going too.
I think you're crazy for that.
So you
know what I think they really do to just like oddball?
Sure.
Solid Gold Explorer.
Solid Gold Explorer is
Funny you say that.
That's the way to do
right
it.
here.
That's the way to
What,
do it.
I think
somebody Adobe did already?
Hodinkee did.
Oh, there you go.
Hodinkee did. They said we designed our 2022 fantasy watches, and they put a Solid Gold Explorer.
Yeah, why not?
Now let me tell you something. Solid Gold Explorer, fire.
Crazy.
I'm over it. I'm all over it.
And keep it at case size 36.
Yeah, keep it to 36.
Fire.
The solid gold Datejust. If they bring back for men solid gold Jubilees, that's the way to go.
It's also the 10th anniversary for the Sky Dweller.
Platinum.
Think so? Sure.
Platinum Ice Blue Sky Dweller.
Or what if they go ahead and finally make a watch that's more complicated?
It's not gonna happen.
I don't think that's
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Don't hold your
Not
breath
to say
for
that they
one.
aren't working on something. I just don't think you'll see it this year.
Sky Dweller is gonna be the thing, unless Perpetual Cellini.
I thought, but Cellini is done.
You can still get the moon
You
phase.
can get the moon phase.
Okay.
Moon phase. So they
That's the thing. They're done probably because they're updating the line.
Maybe.
well, but moon phase is still around.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You need to update the moon phase. It was the latest one to be released. That's
Yes.
probably up to their standards as of right now.
Sure.
Yes.
The dual time, the time only, probably not. Maybe update the movement. Maybe we get a perpetual calendar Cellini.
Yes.
It's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, there's various ways this can go. All gold Explorer, not mad at that. Update on the Milgauss or the Air King, pass for me. Just do away with it. at
With the
this
Air
point.
King? Or
Yeah, for
both
sure.
of them?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to see a Milgauss referencing the OG
No,
ceramic bezel?
not interested.
Don't care?
No.
Okay.
That watch literally only sells if it's the one
The blue
presented to you. Like no one's like, I want a Milgauss. I want an Air King.
I don't know, man. You know what? I think the Milgauss is one of those that is
Out of
least-
100% of people who ask for Rolex,
it ain't Milgauss.
it's below 1%.
Most people.
I think if people knew more about the history of an Air King, they'd change their tune.
I'm with you, but at that point, the people who know the people who are knowledgeable about the Air King, they're gonna get vintage.
Yeah, but
Because let's be honest, the Air King that is currently in the line is not aesthetically pleasing.
no, but it was designed for a purpose.
I get it.
And the whole thing with Red Bull and the land speed record.
Yes.
And if people cared about that, they might be more inclined to get one.
It's
I
gonna
don't
be
think
a
they
no
wear
for
it.
me, dog.
He's not
pass.
moved.
I hate that watch. I'm not even gonna lie. I think it's trash.
Okay. I mean, I ain't gonna knock it. I'm not even saying I like it. I'm just.
Milgauss
I
is
think,
actually
I,
kind
think,
of
I think they're
cool.
gonna keep it around.
But I always see like it's two kinds of people who get those. Well, it's two kinds of people who get the Milgauss. There's like that's the only one that was presented to them.
Yes.
Or there's a guy who's like kind of nerdy, and not in a bad way, but might be an actual scientist
Yeah.
of some sort or a doctor, and is like, yeah, I'm with it. That's cool. Air King, I always see it on the same person.
It's funny you see it on anybody.
I do see it. It's always
Yeah, I've never seen a modern Air King on
it's-
anyone.
I see a modern Air King. It's always on a kid who looks like he's 25. He's probably 30.
Got it from his dad.
Or like just walked into a shop in a random spot and wanted a Rolex, and they was like, "Here, you want this?" And he's like, "Sure," because he just wants the crown.
Yeah.
Yeah, no for me. But cool. Coke bezel, I think, is where it's at. I'm
Coke
all
bezel
over that.
GMT needs to make.
I think that's the thing that like you could probably actually see. I wouldn't be surprised if that makes the line. Moving along, Indy 500, independent brands.
Yes.
What are you hoping to see? What are you expecting to stand out?
I'm gonna say Patek again for Indies.
Sure.
You guys' favorite brand, Ming?
I love Ming.
I
They
don't
just
think- I don't
released
think they're
a
showing,
new
though.
GMT that was
new
fire.
GMT.
Me personally, I am interested in seeing what UN does.
UN?
They just released the Blast Moonstruck, which I think is fire and a major contender for watch of the year so far for 2022.
Yes.
The watch is beautiful. I love the rollout. It felt like a summer blockbuster film. It was like, oh man, it's like, this is a Will Smith movie? What's going on right now? Fire. And they're in a roll right now. They recently bought the company back,
Yep.
right? So I think they're in a place where they're really feeling themselves and they can flex a little bit. And they are flexing, and I'm super interested in what they're doing. I think they're going to be like one of the brands that are most talked about for 2022.
I want to see some new Freak X's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New case materials.
Mhm.
Yeah, some new freaks, some freak outs, freak visions.
But I think coming from like this is a brand that they have a history,
Yes.
right? And you're going from 2021 where they were just starting to make like some noise with like people who were like getting accustomed to like hearing about them and seeing them in the wild to like them releasing the Blast Moonstruck, and now like people are kind of checking for them.
Yes.
Like people are looking at like what's UN up to, and they're becoming a household name.
Yes.
It feels like.
Well, the coolest thing too is like, because we were referring to GP in their casquette. GP had to dig in their bag. They had to go and dig into their archives and kind of figure out, something that was unique.
Right.
UN on the opposite side, and they are like, partners together. All of their pieces are from their original callbacks. So the Moonstruck isn't new. This is
No,
actually
they've done it. There's several iterations.
Yes. So this is the third generation, the same as the Freak. The Freak has had multiple generations.
But that's what I like about them too. Like you just said, like a brand like GP, brought back the casquette, went back to the 70s. UN was looking towards the future.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's always been their thing.
Yes.
They dropped the Freak in 2001.
Yes.
Crazy.
You know what watches look like in 2001? Not like that.
No.
Exactly.
No one made anything look like that.
So it goes to your point.
They're running
Look
their
into
own
the
race.
future.
Yeah.
Running their own race. I think they take, like you said, they take another one of their iconic watches and blast
To
it
me,
into the future.
there are a handful of brands that will force the industry to sort of like kind of pivot from Rolex.
Yes.
And not in the sense that like people are going to be like, we don't want a Rolex anymore. They'll always be who they are. And I think that's incredible. But UN is one of those brands that I think a lot of people are starting to pay attention to. And they're like, okay, I have this, I have that. At some point, a lot of these guys like, I want something new, I want something different.
Yes.
I want something, unique, some story that has layers to it. UN kind of checks those boxes for me, and I don't know. I'm really digging what they're doing right now. Like, really, really feeling them. I think that they're doing everything right. All of the moves are the right moves.
Oh yeah.
And when you see like kind of like a new artist or a musician like in their bag, like they got a hit, but then they deliver like a solid LP, and it's like, oh, you really do this. That's what UN kind of feels like right now. Like they've been on the block, but they feel like the new kid on the block.
Yes.
So it's almost like they went back, they went in the studio, recalibrated this stuff, and everyone's like just hearing about them again for the first time. It's hard for a brand to do when they've been around,
Yes.
right? And so it's like you've been around for a long time and you feel new and youthful again. It's powerful. It's very powerful.
No, I agree, 100%.
Yeah. So I'm really, really excited to see what they bring. I guess the last one and or question or thing to propose, who do you think is going to bring the wow factor? I think it's UN.
Yes.
Who are you expecting or anticipating, or who do you want to see bring the wow factor to watches and wonders?
Man, that's tough. Because there are a lot of brands that are on that list, but I think going to what you were saying, just as far as like what UN brings to the table, they can definitely wow a couple of folks.
Sure.
Patek definitely is gonna, I think, bring the most impact because they literally nix their entire line.
Yeah, my choice. I'm going clean sweep. Patek
Patek.
straight through.
They literally
Patek is.
sweep.
I want to see Patek bring the wow factor. They're my most anticipated showing,
Sure.
and I don't know. I just for some reason a brand doesn't get rid of all the things that they did if they're not bringing some heat.
Yes.
And the other
yeah.
thing too, there's like they might have discontinued a lot of these watches 2-3 months ago.
Yes.
That's because new ones have been in development for.
So the other
couple
one,
years.
the other two brands I'm thinking of Grand Seiko
Mm-hmm.
and Vacheron.
Yes.
And not that I know anything, but
I think Grand Seiko gonna pop off.
Okay.
I have a good feeling.
Grand Seiko's
Respect.
gonna pop off. But you know, also too, what would be exciting for a brand like VC, because they are one of the oldest watchmakers, period.
And that's what I'm thinking about. So I'm thinking about that, but then I'm also thinking about like a lot of the conversations that I'm having with people who are watching the show,
Yes.
people that I know that collect watches, and what we've seen the last few months. And Grand Seiko has been on a very steady incline.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm interested in seeing what they bring to watches and wonders.
Yes.
I think they're gonna bring some wow.
I want to see what VC does.
What
If
would
VC
you want to see from VC? Because to be honest, I could care less about them right now. I really can.
No, what I want to see is I want to see a whole new watch.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I want to see I want to see a watch that they have never introduced. I feel like they have to. They only have 2 watches in their line that anyone is heavily sought after.
I mean, so here's the thing with Vacheron. Vacheron is in a place right now that Patek found themselves in a while ago, where anyone who walks into the door of Vacheron is asking for an overseas.
Sure, exactly.
Yes.
2
100%.
years ago, people were like, yo, you got a Nautilus, you got an Aquanaut?
Mhm.
And now it's like Patek's whole lineup is in demand. Vacheron is on that hit now where everyone's like, you have an overseas dual time. And then it brings them into everything else, the 1926 line. I have a client and a friend now who he was dying for an overseas. It's all he knew from Vacheron. And then, but it's Steel 1926. Because he's like, oh, this is actually way nicer.
Yeah.
Tried on an overseas that was on exhibition at the boutique and was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, I don't see the hype in the overseas at all. It's ugly.
No.
Yeah, it's ugly. The only one I like is the Everest.
The Everest is the best.
It's the only one I like.
Yeah.
But it's chunky.
Mm-hmm.
It's chunky. I think it's ugly. The titanium's a good like advantage on the Everest because even though it's chunky, it's lighter.
Super.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't understand why your pusher works for the date wheel.
Yeah.
That should be your jump hours, your local time.
Exactly.
Why do you have a pusher for your date? That function makes no sense.
That
to me.
makes that does make
that
no
makes
sense.
no sense.
That does make no
Your
sense.
date should jump with your jump hour, which is what that pusher should be for.
I agree with that.
Yes.
So all in all, I could care less about Vacheron right now, until they start to impress me with their.
So you're
core
Patek,
line.
clean sweep.
Yeah, Patek's gonna do it this year.
Okay.
Most excitement for sure.
Gotcha.
Who else is in participating?
I mean, most of the big brands. We have
It's
the
all the
list
big
pulled up,
brands.
besides Omega, Longa,
Mhm.
Baume and Mercier, Cartier, Chanel, Chopard, Grand Seiko, and Hermes. Hublot, IW. Hublot might actually make some pretty good impressions. They do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
IWC and Jaeger.
JLC.
Jaeger. We're sleeping on Jaeger.
Oris.
Oris too. We're sleeping
Oris
on
will
Jaeger.
come with some
though.
heat. Oris will come with some heat for sure.
I think we get some new reversos. More
mean, of
complicated
course.
reversos though.
Yeah.
Reverso chronograph making a comeback. Calling it now.
Zenith has been on a run lately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That could get really interesting.
Yeah.
They're doing a similar thing though, where they're like, I feel like they're in a similar space with GP. Like they're reaching back into their catalog a lot
Yes.
and kind of reminding people.
Yeah, they did when they did the El Primero revival. That's
The El
kinda what
Primero,
kicked
the
them off.
Defi, like
But the thing about Zenith, I think that they're a brand that never really like lost their steam. Like,
I mean, they
as-
weren't around for a while.
but I feel like a Zenith is like once it was like introduced, it's just always stayed hot.
I feel like, I mean, sure, probably in certain circles, but I also feel like they've been out of the conversation for a while and they just got reintroduced like in 2021.
But I think you're right. But that's only because everybody wants a Daytona.
Exactly.
And then it's like, okay, great. So, you like you said, you pivot. All right, so, Zenith actually partnered with Rolex to create, this superior cosmograph.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, great. you know what, you love Daytonas from the 2000s, or at least you're familiar with the Daytona in the early 2000s, so on and so forth. Well, how about we show you the Pioneer? Zenith. I think that's where like their steam comes from. But anything past that, like I've always seen like Zenith on people's wrists.
I don't see it on many people's wrists.
I've been seeing it lately because they did the old El Primero. They brought them back.
But no, what I would say is this: the El Primeros that you really don't see on people's wrists is the ceramic bezel ones, because those are like in high demand.
You mean the Chronomaster Sport?
Yes.
The ones that look like Daytonas?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, because people are buying them. They're sold out.
Yeah. But I mean, past that, like you'll see other pieces.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
I see more El Primeros on people's wrists than Chrono Sports.
Yeah.
And it's a fire watch. I want a El Primero revival.
I want one too.
On the ladder bracelet.
Yeah. I don't like ladder bracelets. I'm sorry.
On that watch, you have to have it. It's the OG.
I'll put it on the strap.
You would buy it on the strap? You didn't even care to get it on the bracelet and the swap?
I'll do strap.
Black strap. It comes on black.
I might bend it out.
Red?
Maybe.
Yeah, you gotta go red. You gotta go red.
This has been fun. Lots of speculation. Watches and Wonders is for sure going to be packed full of surprises and conversation, and obviously you'll get a follow-up from us. Maybe we'll be there. I don't know. We're trying to figure some things out.
Yes.
There are some logistical conversations happening. But I'm excited. I think 2022 is shaping out to be a really great year for watches. And I can't wait. And it's still just the start. We're only 3 months in. So
3 months in, quarter's already over.
That's it.
First quarter is the new year.
This is it. It's done.
Yes.
And we're going to go out with a bang with Watches and Wonders. And maybe some of our predictions are right. Thank you all for tuning in. As said at the end of every episode, you can find us on Instagram at WristCheckPod. We're also on TikTok. We're with the youth. You on TikTok? Kids on TikTok? We got music on TikTok.
TikTokers.
We got dances. We don't have dances on TikTok.
No
I'm
one's
just
dancing.
kidding. But we are on TikTok. You can find us on TikTok. We're also on Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're on YouTube, obviously, and Spotify audio and video. So look us up, Wrist Check Pod or Wrist Check Podcast on all of those platforms. We're also readily accessible. Our personal Instagram handles are all listed on the main Instagram page for Wrist Check Pod. We answer the direct messages. We answer comments. Please share, like, subscribe, comment. We want to hear from you. We want your feedback. We want to know what you like, what you dislike. So thank you for participating in this community and being part of our audience. We appreciate you. You make it lots of fun. And we'll see you next week. Deuces.